Welcome to the Essentials of Endpoint Management Sales Training. Over the next 15 minutes or so, I want to introduce you to Novell's Endpoint Management Solution Area. I'll be your host, and my name is Doug Clower, the Global Enablement Manager for End User Computing. Let's start by taking a look at some of the characteristics and trends in the endpoint management market. Forrester Research estimates that the amount of capital expenditure an enterprise's IT can consume is as much as 80%, and 44% of the total IT spend is on hardware and software. The endpoint management market presents an almost $10 billion opportunity in 2011. Broadly, it consists of 5 key submarkets: change and configuration management, secure content and threat management, security and vulnerability management, problem management, and application virtualization. The security and virtualization markets will drive most of the growth. Several trends are impacting the market today that highlight the opportunity for vendors. These trends include adoption of Windows 7 as the next corporate PC standard, continued convergence of CCM and security, increasing workforce mobility, and a growing demand for emerging technologies like green IT, appliances, SaaS, and desktop virtualization. Some of the key drivers for Windows 7 adoption include aging and old desktops that need to be refreshed, Windows XP mainstream support and OEM downgrade rights to XP that cease 18 months after Windows 7 ships, and Windows 7 has a compelling value proposition with key security, mobility, networking, and search enhancements. A measurable proof point is IDC's claim that 19% of the global IT workforce will be on Windows 7 by the end of 2010, with 190 million units to be shipped by then. In addition, a Forrester study suggests that 66% of the enterprises expect to migrate to Windows 7, with Windows 7 becoming the new standard for most commercial PCs in the next 12 months. Gartner puts a high estimate on the cost per PC to deploy Windows 7 into a 10,000 user environment at just over $2,000, or around $20 million. That's a rather significant investment. They also indicate that one significant inhibitor, application compatibility issues with Windows 7, delays the migration effort by between 12 and 18 months. Given these trends and factors, Novell is well positioned to deliver a solution our customers will value that addresses their Windows 7 migration needs and delivers improved PC manageability. In addition to the need to migrate to Windows 7, customers are also concerned with lowering total cost of ownership, addressing environmental heterogeneity, maintaining their service level agreements, securing the desktop, mitigating risk and ensuring compliance, all while promoting workplace flexibility. Let's take a look at who cares about endpoint management. The CIO is a key purchasing influencer, but not all CIOs are alike. CIO Magazine recently profiled 3 types of CIOs: the functional head, the transformational leader, and strategist. The functional head focuses on improving IT operations, systems performance, and cost control along with expense management. The transformational leader works to align IT initiatives with business goals, implementing new systems and architecture. The business strategist is driving business innovation and identifying opportunities for competitive differentiation. In addition to acknowledging the personality types, we must also consider the key business drivers that influence them in 2010, like hitting business goals, seizing on commercial opportunities. 30% of the 500-plus IT leaders surveyed say meeting or beating business goals is a personal leadership competency that is critically needed by their organization. They also care about cost control and efficiency. Managing costs now ranks among the top 5 most frequently cited activities where CIOs are spending the majority of their time. Past purchasing patterns show that IT directors are the primary purchasing decision maker in most organizations, but as the economy has soured, their influence has eroded. They evaluate potential solutions by total cost of ownership and perceive stability and viability of the vendor. Principal business challenges include being overworked, leaving them unable to serve in an advisory role to upper management on IT issues, lack of resources, limiting their staff's ability to keep up with the pace of technological change and meet increasing service level demands, and high cost of service desk calls and support incidents. The desktop manager is charged with managing end-user devices and provides access to line of business and corporate-approved productivity applications. Secondarily, this role may also bear responsibility for handheld management. Principal business challenges include too many devices in too many locations to manage, too many conflicts and problems due to mix of devices, software, and operating systems, the inability to easily get to each system to manage it or fix it, and user errors and mischief breaking their machines. They also have an issue with existing processes that don't work 24/7. The Service Desk Manager is responsible for the day-to-day operations and staffing needs of the help desk, developing performance benchmarks and service level agreements, and ensuring service level compliance, driving the knowledge management process, and resolving customer issues. Principal business challenges here include difficulty providing adequate service request and instant resolution to minimize the impact on user productivity, the inability to deliver agreed-upon service levels and overall quality of service, and an inability to understand the impact of change on the underlying assets supported by their services. While the four roles we just covered are primary, it's important to recognize that there are other role players that can influence the purchase decision. Look to these players in order to get their buy-in and support. It includes the CFO, line of business managers, the Architecture and Technology Direction Board, server administrators, network and infrastructure administrators, the Network Operations Center, building techs, department administrators, vendors, and integrators. Not only do we need to understand the concerns of each of these key players, it's equally important to understand how their concerns are interdependent. Let's look at some of the other vendors that participate in this market space. Key vendors include companies like Symantec Altiris, Avocent Landesk, Microsoft, and to a lesser extent Dell Case and BigFix. The first two have strong brands in endpoint management, product leadership, and developed channels, and they continue to ride the CCM security convergence wave, along with adjacent capabilities like desktop virtualization and problem management. Microsoft is trying to win in the market with its System Center offerings and leverage its massive Windows install base and marketing and sales leadership. Dell Case is targeting lower-end segments, offering an appliance-based full lifecycle management solution and has application virtualization capabilities. BigFix strategy is around policy-based security and operational endpoint management with credibility in large enterprises because of its historical roots in patch management, but is lacking service desk capabilities and has subpar capabilities in asset management, OS deployment, and software distribution. Finally, vendors such as Front Range Solutions, ManageSoft, and CA are considered largely niche players in the market and typically lack key capabilities that enable them to provide a full endpoint management solution to their customers. For instance, Front Range lacks an endpoint security strategy, ManageSoft lacks an application virtualization strategy, CA lacks both. Novell's strategy for endpoint management focuses on driving end-user productivity by utilizing identity to focus on the user experience based on who they are, where they are, and what device they are using, and to manage and secure the desktop environment regardless of the device or location with freedom and flexibility, while maintaining a simple, easy-to-use solution. When we talk about capabilities, we're speaking to the qualities, features, and abilities that can be used to address a particular need. Endpoint management solutions from Novell consist of 4 capabilities that address organizations' needs to manage the lifecycle of devices across physical, virtual, and cloud environments. They are endpoint lifecycle management, endpoint security management, IT asset management, and IT service management. Let's review each by starting with IT asset management. To begin with, let's start by defining what we mean by a pain point. It's a concern, issue, or focus that a company is attempting to find a solution for, whether admitted or latent. One of the biggest pain points organizations may face is obtaining a clear picture of the hardware and software assets in their IT estate. Often organizations resort to manually tracking assets, but this approach lends itself to inaccuracy and poor accountability, which in turn leads to cost overruns and compliance-related issues. Visibility into contracts, leases, warranties, and SLAs is paramount. Another pressing concern is software license compliance, especially when facing an audit. Organizations can face stiff fines and penalties from software vendors or industry watchdog groups. On the other hand, the right information can help them at the bargaining table with vendors. Capabilities are the qualities, abilities, features, etc. that can be used or developed, basically the inherent potential of something. Novell provides identity-based IT asset management capabilities that offer full transparency of all hardware and software assets, thereby eliminating the inaccuracy and cost of manual tracking. Our solution features industry-leading software asset management capabilities such as license management to achieve compliance, software usage tracking and trending to help drive better prices during vendor negotiation, contract management to minimize IT and purchasing headaches, and our solution runs on a choice of operating platforms and databases and can easily discover and inventory a wide range of desktop and server operating platforms. Finally, endpoint management solutions feature a single management console where you can easily track all of your assets. Novell ZenWorks Asset Management is the core product that provides this comprehensive picture of hardware and software assets across an organization from a single management console. This brings us to our next solution capability, Endpoint Lifecycle Management. Organizations are increasingly confronted with a range of challenges when it comes to managing their endpoint environment. First is the rapid proliferation of devices and the effect that has on end-user productivity. Users' mobility necessitates ensuring that they remain highly productive regardless of where their job takes them. Second, the day-to-day cost of managing desktop environments can be extremely high, especially if they lack required IT skills or are without a cohesive set of management tools. Lastly, as organizations grow, their IT environments become more and more complex. For instance, endpoints continue to flood into organizations, each relying on a different operating platform and each loaded with different applications. Our management capabilities help automate each step of the life cycle of devices, from the time a device enters the network until it is retired. As the only identity-based management solution, Novell Endpoint Management Solutions ensure end users are always productive, no matter where they go or what device they use. These capabilities save time and money with a centralized management console that easily automates manual IT tasks such as OS imaging, software distribution, remote management, and power management with just a few mouse clicks and with unparalleled flexibility. Again, we provide a choice of server infrastructure, including operating platform, database, and directory services. We manage desktops across multiple operating systems and support physical, virtual, and cloud-based environments. Furthermore, our solution integrates multiple capabilities into a single, unified solution to help marry the needs of IT operations and security and align with ITIL best practices. Novell Endpoint Lifecycle Management is comprised of 4 capabilities delivered by Novell ZenWorks Asset Management, Novell ZenWorks Configuration Management, Novell ZenWorks Application Virtualization, and Novell ZenWorks Patch Management. Now, whether it's a desktop, notebook, netbook, server, handheld, or removable storage device such as a USB drive, an endpoint can pose a serious security risk to an organization. First, there are vulnerabilities that come from within. Users may be transmitting sensitive data that is not encrypted, accessing mobile networks without the right security settings, or disabling their firewalls or antivirus software. Applications may not be properly patched or up to date with the latest security fixes, which leaves endpoints even more vulnerable. Guest endpoints that connect to a network pose a threat in that they may be non-compliant. They may be missing the latest Windows Service Pack, application patches, or the latest antivirus definitions. With the seemingly endless array of endpoint security threats compounded by an increasingly mobile workforce and growing regulatory oversight, it's more important than ever that organizations secure their endpoints. Novell's endpoint security management capability protects an organization's confidential information and helps achieve regulatory compliance across physical, virtual, and cloud environments. Our solutions feature identity-based capabilities that ensure end users are always secure regardless of the device they use. Security policies adapt based on who they are and where they're located. These security capabilities are integrated with our endpoint lifecycle management capabilities under a single unified console, enabling IT to address the growing convergence of IT operations and security. Novell's Endpoint Security Management automates security policy enforcement through capabilities such as personal firewall, wireless connection management, application control, device control, patch delivery, network access control management, and full disk encryption. It does this with products Novell ZenWorks Endpoint Security Management, Novell ZenWorks Patch Management, Novell ZenWorks Network Access Control, and coming in 2011, Novell Full Disk Encryption. As organizations grow, IT managers need a way to integrate all the different requests from businesses to avoid redundant work and especially losing requests. In addition, once a request is placed, it has to be categorized, escalated, and resolved, all within the service level agreement's timeframes to minimize business disruption and loss of productivity. IT organizations are always looking for new ways to optimize IT spend and standardize, automate, and improve processes. An enterprise-wide Windows 7 deployment, whether aided by automated near-zero-touch migration tools or not, will face numerous service management challenges that will have a direct impact on services levels, end-user satisfaction, and end-user productivity. IT Service Management provides an integrated platform for automating and adapting ITSM best practices to an organization's requirements. Our Service Desk offering provides a single point of contact to monitor, manage, and resolve all the requests placed by the business and provide rapid restoration of normal services to the end users. This approach helps ensure end users remain productive by reducing resolution times and ensuring that the right information from instance, problems, changes, and asset records is accessible through a single pane of glass. Novell Service Desk is an ITIL v3 certified platform to monitor, manage, and resolve service requests, including incident management, problem management, change management, service level management, and many more ITIL processes. In total, the Novell Endpoint Management suite of capabilities delivers on virtually every organization's endpoint management needs. Thanks for taking the time to watch this Essentials of Endpoint Management sales training. This is Doug Clower, your host, wishing you happy selling.